Chris Ridgeway has made his return to Pro Wrestling Noah. FDR and Aussie Open have been announced for New Japan Royal Quest. Tyson T-Bone has been called out for alleged abuse by a former partner. Former WWE star Paige, now going by Riot, will be a special guest referee at WAW's Fightmare. Hello and welcome to Tea and Tights, the Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling, as featured on bodyslam.net, brought to you by the Jonas Podcasting Network. I am, of course, the Great British Taku, Mr. Andrew Moore, Andy to most, joined as always by Big Daddy Dan, Mr. Daniel Allen, just Dan for short. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm having a busy time of it at the moment, and I am enjoying my escapism through wrestling.
It's always good to escape for a few minutes, well, an hour or so, because you know we do waffle on just a little bit. But yes, we are majorly. But we've got lots of stuff for you today, plenty of news, few reviews, and just as always, British wrestling.
Yay!
I'm going to kick things off now. Before we talk about Chris Ridgeway, we'll talk about the fact that Jack Morris and how well he did in the Pro Wrestling Noah N1 victory. He picked up 6 points overall, which is about what I was expecting, to be honest. I think this is a good tally for him, a good showing. He got victories over Kinya Okada and Masa Kitayama, which were the two that I kind of expected him to possibly pick up points in. So, but then of course he got that opening day on his debut match against the young gun of Pro Wrestling Noah, Kiyomiya Kaito, and he got the big win over that, and that was a fantastic win for Jack Morris. Kaito would actually go on to win the group. I believe Jack Morris was the only person to actually pick up a victory over him. So you can see how big a deal that kind of is. I think the best thing about this is he did, you know, the idea, we knew he wasn't going to go on and qualify, you know, making his debut, a Gaijin making his debut. He was never really going to win the league, so it was all about making an impression, and that's what he did, including Kojima, who spoke very, very highly of Jack Morris and went on Twitter after their matches to speak very highly of the young man from Scotland. He'll be back in Scotland for Discovery Wrestling Year 7. Let me find out the date. I think it's in December. Might be wrong. I mean, November. I don't think it was December.
Then you were wrong about December.
Yeah, it was November the 13th, and that'll be in Edinburgh with Discovery Wrestling. So good to see. As I say, well done, Jack Morris. I think he had a fantastic outing.
Good work, mate. Good work. Sticking with Pro Wrestling Noah, Chris Ridgeway has returned.
He has. He made his debut, or re-debut, or return on the final day of the M1 Victory Group stage. Now that his visa had finally come through, so he finally gets got a chance to get out there. I think he's going to be over there till November time. So same with Jack Morris possibly. So I do know he put out actually November, December. He will be looking for bookings in the UK, but he did return to Pro Wrestling Noah. He saved his GHC junior heavyweight tag team partner Yoshinari Agawa from a 5-person beatdown, because it was a 5-on-5 match between Stinger and I can't remember the name of the other group. I do apologize, but basically it ended up with kind of them managing to isolate Agawa and just stomping him in the ring. But then Chris Ridgeway came out and they're like, oh my god, who is this? It's Chris Ridgeway. And he went in there and battered everybody. Well, actually just kind of hit everybody with his belt. So great return afterwards. And yeah, afterwards he was like, I'll take you all on in a post-match video. He was like, yeah, I'll take you all on, but he'll be defending the GHC junior heavyweight titles shortly in Osaka, I believe. Yeah, but
Excellent.
good for Ridgeway. We always like to see British stars doing well abroad.
I think 4 on Ridgeway is about the right kind of numbers.
Yeah. I like the fact because he's junior heavyweight. He's always said he's a junior heavyweight competitor. I know he's loving the fact that he's out there in pro wrestling. No, he's worked his arse off to be to compete for pro wrestling. Obviously his dream was shattered in 2019, at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, when of course COVID. He was out over in pro wrestling in Japan for a good 6 months, but then had to return home due to the restrictions. So as I say, he's just super pumped to be out there again. So good on Chris Ridgeway. Sticking with a Japanese company though, but we're moving back to the UK. Of course, NJPW are coming to the UK again October 1st, October 2nd for their Royal Quest show. And we've had a couple of new teams that have been announced, and that is FTR will be in the UK, will be competing in New Japan Royal Quest. Again, another big name that could really help sway some people into going there. I do know one person who has told me that they're selling their 1PW ticket because they have bought New Japan tickets. But yeah, I mean, when you've got FTR possibly coming to the UK for the Royal Quest, and Aussie Open have just been announced for Royal Quest as well, you now got this huge possibility of FTR versus Aussie Open. And you can't deny that that is not a tantalizing prospect.
It is indeed. The fact that we could get it on British shores is even more exciting. FTR coming to New Japan is definitely a draw. It's a ticket seller.
It's a statement, yeah. And as I say, FTR's the Open is a match I'm sure many people want to see now that especially Aussie Open are getting a bit more recognition out there over in AEW, and we'll be talking about that in just a little while. But yeah, I think if FTR versus Aussie Open is the match that is there, that would be amazing. It might not be the match, but FTR are the New Japan Tag Team Champions, Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, and FTR, of course, the NJPW Strong Openweight Champions. And if they possibly wanted to get the belts off FTR, then Aussie Open would be a great option.
Yeah, it would be a good choice.
Sticking with the Royal Quest, we now know who will be competing in the IWGP Women's Championship tournament that will be kicking off in at the New Japan Royal Quest, of course, not by Stardom actual stars, but we've got an amazing Ava White, huge opportunity for this incredible performer. I've seen her a few times. She is absolutely fantastic. She's got height for days on her. She is a very tall lady. Some excellent kicks and so forth, because I believe she has a dancer's background. And as I say, she is absolutely phenomenal competitor. And well, she's got a challenge of a lifetime and a huge match for her, as she'll be facing the alpha female, the German veteran Jazzy Gabbert, former Stardom champion. We said it'll be somebody who probably already has ties to Stardom. Obviously, we didn't think of Jazzy Gabbert.
No, we did not. And Jessica Bear is an absolutely phenomenal wrestler. Enjoyed her work for years, and I think this is a real great opportunity for Ava White. And again, this is another draw. It's two wrestlers that I want to see wrestling.
I 100% agree. It's going to be a fantastic, and congratulations to Ava White for this. This is massive opportunity for her. Even if she doesn't win, the eyes of the world will be on her for that. The Japanese market will be watching. New Japan, anyone who's got the New Japan world like myself, and anyone who's going to be at that show, you know, I'm sure it's probably going to be about 1,000 deep. So it's going to be an excellent opportunity for Ava. So absolutely congratulations, Ava. It's an opportunity of a lifetime.
Indeed. Right, slightly more difficult one.
Yes.
We're not going to spend too much time on it, so I think we'll just go over it quite quickly. A former ex-girlfriend of Tyson T-Bone has spoken out about alleged abuse at his hands, and another former partner has also spoken out to support these allegations, stating that she was also allegedly assaulted at his hands. Obviously, we don't have more information than that. We are not the police. We don't know and cannot do any more than that. But this is also that is worth bringing up.
Yeah, we're not going to mention who brought these allegations forward. It's not we're not going to talk about. We're not going to read the allegations either, because it's not our story to tell. All we can hope is that this is taken very seriously by anybody who is a safeguarding officer for UK promotions. We make sure that this is handled 100% in the right way. I don't know what that way is. I can't tell you what the punishment should be. I don't know. All we can say is it's something we 100% do not agree with people who abuse their partners. It is disgusting. It's horrible. And if the allegations are true, as I say, just it needs to be taken very, very seriously. And we need to keep people safe.
We do indeed. Let's move on to something more exciting.
Even happier news. Oh, yeah. And just to point out that we don't always ignore the bad. Okay, there you go. We talk about the bad. It happens. But exciting news. Really, really exciting news. And that is the FSU are reuniting. Mark Andrews, Eddie Dennis. It's happening. Riot Cabaret. Get the party started.
Can't wait to hear that music.
It's been the music he's been using since his return. So he's obviously returning as a face to the UK, and I think, you know, FSU, Eddie Dennis, Mark Andrews, what they did for British wrestling cannot be understated. Big forces within the independent market, along with guys like Pete Dunne, Chris Brooks, and so forth. They have to, right there at the beginning of progress, attack indie wrestling, defend indie wrestling. All the things that came out of it, Dragon Gate and Dragon Pro, and so forth. So massive news to see them joining up. So this is Riot. It's going to be at Riot Cabaret Wrestling as part of their tag team turmoil, which I guess go having a tag team tournament now to crown their champion, because they've already crowned their women's champion and men's champion. So maybe they're doing their tag team titles now. FSUB. Yeah, and we'll be doing our top 10 returning NXT UK dream matches in just a little while, and you'll see if FSU got mentioned in the things. We'll find out later in the show. Right, this is a little, I'm not 100% sure that this is what it is. It was picked up by a lot of places, though. Do you want to go for it?
Yeah, could Shota Umino be about to join the Blackpool Combat Club? After posting a picture of himself in Blackpool, England, saying, "I came to Blackpool for sightseeing at the end of the summer. It was such a beautiful city."
So, one is Shota Umino finishing his UK tour or excursion. Is he going to be returning to New Japan now, maybe? Is this what he's saying? Or is he going to be going to AEW? Or will it be kind of a cross of both, where he'll be working both New Japan and AEW? And of course, he does have the connections to John Moxley.
He does indeed.
I believe he did kind of represent them in one of the Forbidden Door matches.
Mhm.
So yeah, go on, Shota. You deserve it. Be sad to lose him in the UK though, because always been a fan. There he is, Shota Umino, top left-hand corner this week, just above Warren Banks.
Speaking of AEW, following the United Empire defeating Death Triangle in the Trios tournament, much to my surprise, Ospreay and Omega had a heated exchange post-show. And, who's the better promo guy?
Bruv. I still say that he is, that Will Ospreay is the better promo guy. I spoke about this with somebody.
After that
after he went, because he said bruv like 28 times, and like I think somebody marked it out that it was, he would literally said bruv every 8 seconds, the amount of times he said bruv. Now I think it's a good explanation for this, partly because there is a legitimate dislike between the two. And two, did you notice the little comment made by Kenny Omega before he handed Will Ospreay the microphone to rile him up, to get him flustered? And it worked.
It did. And Kenny Omega came off.
Actually did a decent promo himself for the very first time I've ever seen in my career.
No, that's not true, Andrew.
Okay, so it's like one of 3 good promos he's ever done in his career. Then he's not a thing. And to be honest, all he did was restate everything he said in interviews the last. So it was nothing new. It's everything that it's literally a planned promo. It's a forward out. He's been saying the exact same promo for like a year to.
Better than saying the exact same thing 8 times a second.
Yeah, but I still say, yeah, I mean, if you have you watched the Rev Pro UK shows yet?
No, mate.
So therefore you can't talk about how good his promos are.
Well, I've seen them in other shows, and I've seen them online.
He's the far better promo guy than Fig. But yeah, he was definitely riled up. And you can also tell that by the fact that I really think, yeah, Kenny really antagonized him. I have no idea how this match is going to go now. Because if shit get legit, you got Aussie Open behind you. But I think it's going to be different. You have to keep them apart somehow during the match. You can't have them clash yet during the match. If you waste Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega in a 6-man tag, which I still think was stupid to do in the first place. The fact they shouldn't be stepping in the ring till they're 1-on-1. They really shouldn't. If I were AEW, I would find a way to have Kenny Omega taken out backstage and then have a who done it. Was it United Empire? Was it the Undisputed
Elite?
Or someone like that, or even someone completely different? Could it be Chris Jericho, John Moxley?
It was Rikishi.
It was Rikishi. He did it for The Rock. Exactly. And that way you can keep the two from clashing, because I think it's such a waste. I really do. How can you have Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay on the same show in a match and not be an actual singles match?
Well,
I didn't think they were going to beat what's-the-call-it. That was a shock. I guess they gave Pac an out with the whole Kip Sabian being luring him in and attacking him during the match. But yeah, I think it was. I just don't know what they're doing. How do you think they'll do it? Do you think they'll clash in the match?
Yes, I do. Unfortunately, after the giving away of the CM Punk versus John Moxley in a TV throwaway match, I think that they won't do anything to keep them apart. I think it will just happen.
I'm sure it'll get another 5 stars.
Oh, without doubt. And I think it'd be an amazing match when it does happen.
I think probably because they gave 5 stars for the pack match anyway. So that's now 4 more than Kenny Omega, by the way. But yeah, if Dave Meltzer doesn't blow a gasket for this match, I could set new records. 7.5, I think, was the highest at the moment. It's the 7-star match between Okada and Omega. I'm sure it'll be above 5. What do you reckon? How many stars is Dave Meltzer going to give this match?
I don't know.
I'm going 6.5.
I don't know because I don't know how Kenny's healed yet.
You still got the Young Bucks and Ospreay and Aussie Open. Even without Kenny at 100%, I still think Dave Meltzer is going to give this match 6.5 stars. And everybody online is going to go, oh, you should listen to Meltzer. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And everyone's going to go, Meltzer is the best commentator. And just remember, we always say this, your opinion matters just as much as anybody else, regardless of tenure, age, or whatever. It's an opinion.
They're like assholes. Everybody has one.
Exactly. Let's move on.
Yes. Paige Saraya will be the special guest referee for the upcoming match between Roy Knight and Zack Knight at WAW's Fightmare 4.
Yeah. I believe on a recent show, the Roy Knight and Zack Knight were taking on the Battlecats after the match. Another member of the Knight family attacked one of them. I think it was another night, and basically the Knights were all fighting. So came onto the screen Saraya or Paige, and she said, right, it has to be, you have to get it done in a match, and I'm going to be the special guest referee for that match. Just trying to find when Fightmare.
It's in Norwich at the Norfolk Showground. I believe it's in October.
Yeah. Seem to see a post from WAW about
Cardona's there as well. It's going to be
he's going to be
facing
facing Ricky Knight. Yeah, Matt Cardona versus Ricky Knight. You got Saraya Knight versus Chelsea Green as well. So it's October the 15th. In Norwich, as he said, I think it's going to be an absolutely incredible show.
Yep, it should be a good one.
Before we do our 10 dream matches, let's talk about another top 10.
Yeah.
This came out, what was it, last week? Ariel Helwani. Isn't he like I thought he was an MMA guy.
He was. He does reporting on both.
Well, he put together a list of the 10 best British wrestlers of all time.
Let me just quickly put in a little thing here. This is from an American's point of view who has only seen what is available in America.
And is also somewhat employed by the WWE.
And also has connections with WWE.
Because, my God, this list was, a lot of
missing some major
WWE
names
on this list, yeah. Where is the bloody list? Where's it gone? I know I should have wrote it down.
Well, we'll start off at number 10, because number 10, you and I had a big argument about.
Yes, we did.
Number 10 is Big Daddy. Now,
Yes.
I believe, Andy, you believe that Big Daddy shouldn't be on the list of the best British wrestlers of all time.
No, he should not.
I disagree wholeheartedly. He is probably one of the most recognisable faces of the 80s in the United Kingdom. He is the biggest draw that British wrestling has ever had. And anyone that argues that with me, I will happily argue and you will lose. because who else could sell out Wembley Stadium? Who else would have 14 million viewers every Saturday? It was the Big Daddy show.
It was, but he couldn't wrestle. He could barely move around the ring. He forced so many of the actual best wrestlers in Britain to go to Japan and America because they were sick and tired of playing second fiddle to somebody who couldn't actually wrestle. He is the reason for the death of British wrestling, regardless of the fact that, yes, he brought it to the zenith, the highest peak, but he is also the reason British wrestling died.
No, that's the reason British wrestling died is because it lost its slot on ITV.
It lost its slot on
ITV. Drawing millions of people.
The reason he didn't want it anymore in ITV is because it wasn't wrestling anymore.
No, the reason it became it is because it
became a spectacle. It became less about being a sport and more about being a spectacle like America. And they thought that was lowbrow. And they got rid of it. Plus the fact, as I say, we lost all of the best talent. So people started to tune out, which was another reason the ITV went, well, look, it's losing viewers. Let's just get rid of it.
It lost viewers because it lost its time slots.
It lost its time slots and viewers because they lost the best wrestlers. They all went to America and thing. They were, as I say, they were sick and tired of playing second fiddle to Big Daddy. And for that reason, and the fact that, well, and for the major reason is the fact that he couldn't actually wrestle, I wouldn't have him in my top 10. Same reason I wouldn't have Hulk Hogan in my top 10 of world wrestlers.
Then you're mad. Mad as a box of frogs.
But let's go through his list anyway. Number 1, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. Number 2, William Regal. Number 3, Dynamite Kid. Number 4, Drew McIntyre. Number 5, Fit Finlay. Number 6, Lord Alfred Hayes. Number 7, Paige. Number 8, Wade Barrett. Number 9, Nigel McGuinness. And as we just mentioned, number 10, Big Daddy. Honorable mentions: Gentleman Chris Adams, Giant Haystacks, Gendo Nakazaki, Mark Rollerball Rocco, Johnny Saint, Robbie Brookside, Adrian Street, Billy Robinson, Mick McManus, and Klondike Kate. So what did you think of the rest of the list?
No Ospreay, no Pac.
That's just, yeah, this is straight away. No Doug Williams.
No Doug Williams. I don't know enough about Lord Alfred Hayes to comment on him.
He was a big wrestler. I more know Lord Alfred Hayes for his commentating. Yeah. I loved listening to Lord Alfred Hayes on commentary. He had such that British voice.
I'm glad they put Nigel McGuinness in there, even though obviously they don't have rights to pretty much any of his work. I'm glad that he was counted in there because he was a phenomenal wrestler. Really enjoyed watching his stuff, especially against Bryan Danielson.
Well, actually, another name that should at least be in the mix, possibly amongst honourable mentions, would be Nick Aldis.
Yes, I'd agree with that.
You know, just due to his reign as NWA champion, if you want to go by, just accomplishments, his reign as NWA champion. Plus, he is a really good wrestler. But yeah, as you say, it is lacking a few names. Do you know what I think we should do next week?
Go on.
I think we should try to put together our own version of a top 10
best British wrestlers of all time. Ooh, okay.
It's going to be a difficult
arguments.
It's good. They don't know. Not arguments, discussions.
There's going to be some debate.
Debate, yeah. I would say because we don't really argue, we debate. We never really start to raise our voices or shout at each other, do we?
No, not at all.
Now, as I say, NXT UK, it's gone. NXT Europe is possibly coming 2023. Got to get back my notes up. But we put together 10 dream matches that we would like to see from these NXT UK returns.
Yeah.
Would you like to start?
Okay, I am happy to start. I will start off with Teoman's first match back in the UK. I would like to see him, although it's already been announced, I would like to see him versus Luke Jacobs.
Be a good match.
It would be. Sam Gradwell's first match back, I would like to see against Warren Banks. I know Warren's off injured at the moment, but I think Warren Banks versus Sam Gradwell would be brilliant.
I think it would be an excellent match.
Mark Andrews versus Callum Newman.
New school versus old school.
Very much so. Both of a similar build, both of a similar style. I think they could be.
I'd have thought Newman's a bit bigger than Andrews.
I think you forget how big Andrews is.
Interesting to see him line up. I would have thought Newman was a bit bigger than Andrews.
Nina Samuels, I think, needs to be able to show her rough and ready side now that she's back. So I've put her against Rio. She will need to be rough and ready against Rio. Amel, I would love to see take on Mariah May. Mariah May has come back from her American trip. She's got the international style. She's got the international flavor. Give her an international match against Amel.
Go for it.
Saxon Huxley is a great entertaining wrestler. So I've put him against another great entertaining wrestler. I want to see Saxon Huxley versus Mad Kurt.
That'd be very an interesting matchup. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, it'll be good fun. He can hide a keyboard under his beard. Oliver Carter, with his high-flying but technical style, I'd like to see take on Man Like Doris.
I think that'd be a great match.
Kenny Williams, the Cockroach, I think had some great matches against Mark Andrews, and I would like to see him take on a technical master. So I want to see him against Chris Ridgeway.
I wouldn't mind seeing him get battered by Ridgeway, so yeah.
Trent Seven tells stories in the ring. So I've put him against another storyteller, Gene Money.
Cool.
And Rohan Raja, I think, is ready to go international. And so I put him against someone who is just going international, Cara Noir. Yeah. Those are my matches that I would like to see. What do you think?
I think they're pretty good matches. We've also got a 10 list here from Stephen Southern, the tribal chief of the Big Fat Geeks, the invisible member of the Teen Tights crew, the John Cena of the Teen Tights crew, because you can't see him. Anyway, we've got any, I'll do the first 5, you do the next 5.
Cool.
Any two from CPF versus Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, Subculture. Sam Gradwell versus Luke Jacobs. Trent Seven versus Charles Crowley. I like that one. I really do. I think that would be an extremely entertaining feud.
Yep.
Clementine versus Nina Samuels.
I like that one. I think Clementine always fights back as a great underdog, and giving away the size to Samuels, I think that'd be a really good match.
We've got Kenny Williams versus Tommy Kyle.
That would be good.
Yeah,
that'd be really good. Tommy Kyle, again, great technique. Really good match. Eddie Dennis versus Gene Money.
Good, would be good.
I think we're likely to see that match very soon as well. Saxon Huxley versus Maggot. Maggot is taking over the UK scene. Let's put him against Saxon Huxley.
Again, I do like that match.
I reckon that there'd be some big, hard-hitting moments in that match. The Hunt versus the Lads.
It'll be an interesting matchup again as well. Yeah, unusual styles, so it'd be a good clash. Two more.
Ashton Smith versus Man Like Darius.
Again, very similar to kind of the matchup you wanted as well. So I agree with that. Like that one. This is my favorite.
This is one that I would like to see. Taya Man versus the Flat Earther, Truman Roswell.
That's a match I want to see.
I do as well. I know Truman Roswell may not be known to everyone across the UK scene. He is absolutely tearing it up in the Southeast at the moment. He is a great wrestler who believes he's been abducted by aliens, believes the world is flat, and can back it up with some great wrestling in the ring as well as great character work. So yeah, I think that would be great fun.
I do too.
Wonderful. Let's hear
my list. Right, I agreed with Mr. Stephen Stardom. I want CPF versus Mandrews and Flash, although I did narrow it down a bit more, and I said that I want it to be Danny Black and Just Joe Lando versus CPF, because I think that they're the right size. I think they're all about equal size, so I think that would be interesting match. Oliver Carter versus Callum Newman.
I'll pay to see that match.
Millie
I
McKenzie.
love your next one.
Yeah, Millie McKenzie versus the best kept German secret, Laurie. I think that would be a good matchup for Millie. A bit of an unusual thing. So, Josh Morrell, who was just about coming up, versus LJ Cleary.
That'd be a fast-paced match. That'd give Oliver Carter and Callum Newman a run for their money speed-wise.
It would. Now, I've actually gone kind of like a semi-cheat here. I've gone for either Sam Gradwell and Ashton Smith versus Dan Maloney for the TNT Extreme Championship at TNT Extreme. Smith and Carter as a tag team versus the Sunshine Machine.
That'll be a brilliant match, and that will happen, I'm sure.
Teoman or Metahan versus Maggot. That'll be the return match for the German superstar over in WXW. Luke Jacobs versus Rampage.
I wish I'd thought of that one.
The first ever Atlas champion against the current Atlas champion. So, yeah, Luke Jacobs versus Rampage. Alex Windsor versus Amal. The French Hope against the Iron Willed. I think that would be an absolute banger of a match. And I've actually changed my last pick. It's now FSU versus Sunshine Machine. Eddie Dennis and Mark Andrews versus Chuck Mambo and TK Cooper. Sunshine Machine versus FSU. So there are 10 matches I would like to see from the returning NXT UK guys. Obviously, we don't know 100% what's the situation with Rampage yet. We don't know if he's been released or has been kept on, but there you go. I think it was that's some pretty cool list. Anyway, let's get on because what's happening all around the scene.
Alex Windsor is set to defend the Tokyo Yoshi Pro International Princess Championship, it's a mouthful, against Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling star Hikaru Noah at Pro Wrestling Eve's Thursday Night War on the 1st of September. Jetta, Charlie Morgan, and Millie McKenzie will take on Emerson Jane, Nina Samuels, and person to
Lizzie
be
Evo.
Lizzie Evo. Laura Di Matteo will defend her championships against Sky Smithson.
That's the
Kanji.
That's the Pro Wrestling Eve International Championship.
Yeah. Kanji will take on Alexis Falcon in what could be a match of the night, and Ava White and Harley Hudson will also be in action.
Yeah, it should be some great matches. 1st of September, Thursday Night War. Hikari Noah was the TJPW star that I couldn't name last week about being there. So thankfully, I got brought the story up again this week. Right, TNT Extreme. Heading into TNT Extreme versus GCW versus TNT. Representing TNT Extreme, the roughest, baddest tag team in all of British wrestling right now, the Kings of the North, and they will be destroying Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver. Sorry, guys, you Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne, amazing, but Kings of the North, man, dangerous boys.
Should be a good match. Progress Wrestling. Matt Cardona is going to make his Progress Wrestling debut against Gene Money on the 18th of October. Also announced for the show, and the Shakes and Cheeseburgers, is Joey Janela versus Kid Lycos, great teaming, plus Spike versus Drew Parker in a death match.
Yes, and Callum Newman will be taking on Nick Wayne. Ooh. Boom! They're going to blow the bloody roof off that building. Of course, Progress, TNT Extreme, and ICW are all in action this weekend as part of the big Welsh weekend of wrestling. We've done a special for that. Go check it out. The match that you called, RKJ, Ricky Shane Paige versus Luke Jacobs, will be on there. I didn't get my tag team match, though, so I'm disappointed with Progress. Go check that out. It's on YouTube now.
Yeah. Sovereign Pro Wrestling. SovPro have announced the final competitor in their fatal four-way for the heavyweight championship. Malik, Warhorse, and Joseph Connors will be joined by Levi Muir. Nice choice. This, of course, is going down at SovPro's first show in the 1st of October. Also announced Harley Hudson versus Mariah May in a Dreamhouse death match. CPF, made up of Just Joe Lando and Danny Black, will take on the 8-7 of Roy Johnson and Alexander Roth. Danny Duggan will take on Joey Hayes. Aurora Tevez versus Lucia Lee. Benjamin Black versus RJ Singh. Tom Thelwell versus Maverick Mayhew, plus the Crown Cup elimination match. Yestin Reese, Commander Stephanie Sterling, HT Drake, Simon Miller, Big Guns Joe, Smashing Mike, and Ian Skinner will all battle the living blazes out of each other to win the Crown Cup.
It should be a fantastic show over in Manchester. Southwest Wrestling, SWW, they've announced another all-women's show, and that'll be coming on the 16th of September. Instant Karma in Cheltenham. Sky Smithson will be challenging LA Taylor for the Warrior Championship. Nightshade versus Lucia Lee. Melissa Fierce versus Riho. Ava White versus Lana Austin. Dominita versus Ruby. And Aluna Blue will be facing former NXT UK star Nina Samuels.
Yay! PCW.
I'll do these ones because I forgot to fill them out on your one. PCW. We got 2 shows that I'd like to talk about. On September 23rd, contracts are running out for the non-complete causes. Ashton Smith will be making his return to PCW. He was a former PCW Cruiserweight champion. He'll be facing current star of PCW, Philip Michael. You've also got CJ Banks versus Priscilla, Sheik Sham versus Matthew Brooks, and Yester Reitz versus former Impact star Karam. I would also believe he's the OVW champion at the moment.
I believe so.
Yeah. International star. I've done on the Air Queen, so you can do that one.
Simon Miller will take on Commander Stephanie Sterling. Flip Michaels will take on Vaughn Vertigo for the Cruiserweight Championship. Rosie Rascal will take on Shane Monet. And Priscilla gets to go one-on-one with the amazing Kid Bandit.
Yes, and that is going down October the 8th in Blackpool.
Great show.
Purpose Wrestling, a company I very, very much admire over in Wimbledon. I used to watch their shows regularly on YouTube till they moved on to a Patreon system and I'm broke. Purpose have an upcoming show, 9th of
June? No.
Oh, yeah, I'm guessing that's wrong. 9th of September in Wimbledon. Invaders Must Die.
Well,
Sapphire
I've got to do that for that one then. The Prodigy tattoo.
Sapphire Reed and Joe Kessler versus Sky Smithson and Tommy Kyle. Should be a great match.
Yep.
Laura Di Matteo versus Ava White. Luke Jacobs defends the RevPro UK Cruiserweight Championship against Nino Bryant. Man Like Darius versus the legend Doug Williams. And Jordan Breaks defends his Purpose Championship against RJ Singh. Again, going to be a cracking matchup.
There's a lot of cracking matchups on that card. Luke Jacobs versus Nino Bryant really stands out to me. I think that match is just going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Hammerlock Wrestling returns with The Tradition Lives On the 29th of October in Maidstone in Kent. Andy Wilde, the Dad Bod God, will take on Big Jim Diehard. Rhea O'Reilly versus Zaya Brookside. Doug Williams versus Charles Samuels. Callum Newman versus Magica, a Hammerlock original. And Amir Jordan, RJ Singh, and the 8-7 are all set to be involved.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be another fantastic show. One not to be missed. I'm really, really impressed with what Hammerlock doing, really bringing that traditional British wrestling back. Tag team division, women's division, weight divisions. Should be good. Hammerlock original Magic versus Callum Newman should be a very interesting matchup.
Indubitably.
New Wave Wrestling, New Wave run by Brendan White, was originally just going to be a wrestling academy, but he decided to run a show. Why not? And he's doing so in Cardiff, Roath in Cardiff on the 11th of September. Recently announced the Greedy Souls versus Kurt Atlas and Alexander Hyde. Jake Lennox versus Mulligan, who's a name I'm hearing lots of good things about. Shane Hooker versus Jay Joshua, another young Shane Hooker is another young man I'm hearing really, really good things about. I've not seen either of these guys myself. It's just feedback that we're getting from wrestlers. Mulligan and Shane Hooker are getting lots of positive feedback. Anyway, Wild Boar will be in action, taking on James Ellis, and Billy Hayes versus Harrison Bennett. That's a fantastic show going down in Roath, Cardiff. Good on New Wave.
Slam Masters Wrestling have announced an incredible women's match for their Brawl at the Banking Hall. This is on the 2nd of October, as Lizzie Evo collides with the bad girl, Chantel Jordan. Plus, Mark Andrews versus Kid Lycos. Yes, please. Ace Austin versus Nico Angelo. Mariah May will defend her championship against LA Taylor. Man Like Darius will take on the big Welsh bear, Brendan White, and Wild Boar will be in action.
Yeah, talk about a great show. I know Slam Masters always thank us for mentioning them, but when you put a show like that together, Mark Andrews, Lycos, Ace Austin, Nico Angelo, we're going to talk about it. And we're going to repeatedly talk about it because you want to go see these matches. You really do. Anyway, North Wrestling NCL in Newcastle are back in action on the 11th of September, getting away with it. Liam Slater will defend the North Wrestling Championship against the big bad Will Cruz. Leon Slater versus Kid Lycos 2 in two of the best prospects in the world right now match. She-Wolves versus Crash Boat. I'm sure that's going to be interesting, entertaining, and also just bloody awesome.
We love Crash Boat, but my God, they're going to get the crap beaten out of them.
Oh yeah, they're getting squished. Sorry, lads. Just bring Rebecca Resner with you because you'll need to back up. Anyway, Shreddy versus Joe Hendry in a big man slapping meat match. a match you'll surely like: Rory Coyle versus Jet Marshall versus B.A. Rose versus Jack Turner in an ultra-violent championship match. They after Rory Coyle lost the championship to Liam Slater, he decided he was going to create a new championship for himself, the ultra-violent championship.
Well, at least he's defending it when he makes it.
Yes, plus Session Moth Martino will be in appearance, and it should be an absolutely fantastic show at the Anarchy Brewery in Newcastle. There are disruptions on the metro if you're planning to travel to that show, so plan accordingly.
Thank you for that useful piece of information. OPW, Alexander Gray versus Riot Hunter for their championship. Reese and Rogan versus Lucas Neon and Nick Cutter. Synergy will take on the Wrecking Crew of Chris Stone and Dave Getsky. JJ Webb versus Sam Bailey versus Rob Drake versus Sandy Beach versus Big Guns Joe. Plus Alexis Falcon, 2-Bit and RPD are all set to attend.
Yeah, great looking show. Our good friends down in Birmingham, Black Country Championship Wrestling are in action on the 30th of September with Feel the Rhythm in Tipton, Luna Blue versus Lucia Lee, CJ Rawlins versus Dean Allmark, Lucas Cashmere defends his King of the Division Championship, Man Like DeReese, Dan Maloney, Harry Singh will all be in action.
PEW, I will be there for PEW New Beginnings. I will be doing sound. We have got Smashing Mike versus H Hood versus Riley Nova for the PEW Internet Championship. Big Jim Diehard will be taking on Toby Valentine. Ivy will be defending her championship against Ruby. The Invisible Man will be taking on the Vegan Prescott. And Martin Kirby defends the PEW World Championship against Elano Stone.
Are you looking forward to being there once again?
I am looking forward to being there once again. I've always been treated so well by PEW, so I will be looking forward to going along.
Massive. Now, before I get on to the German tour, last week I told you about my trip to Newcastle, the Cottonmouth show of the Deadly Viper tour. This week, I watched on the WWE Network the Deadly Viper tour, codenamed Copperhead, which was actually the day before. The Sunshine Machine defeated the Greedy Souls. G-Money defeated Maggot. Lana Austin defeated Eliza Alexander and Raven Creed. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Leon Slater. Luke Jacobs defeated Man Like DeReese and Mark Davis. Hayata defeated Dean Allmark. Laura Di Matteo defeated Kanji. And Big Damo defeated Chris Ridgeway to become the champion. Obviously, we know he's lost that championship since then. I just want to point out the fact that you should 100% go watch Konosuke Takeshita versus Leon Slater. It'll blow your great goddamn minds. I would also 100% go watch the Atlas freeway between Luke Jacobs, Man Like DeReese, and Mark Davis. Hard-hitting, super athletic, beautiful, brilliant match. Hayata versus Dean Allmark was just beautiful technical wrestling. And Big Damo versus Chris Ridgeway was an excellent showing of a junior heavyweight against a big, strong super heavyweight. Overall, I'll give that show a good 4 sugars.
Excellent.
Okay, now let's go on to some roundup of the European scene. We've talked about him a lot. Teo Man, or back going by Metahan, will be making his return at the WXW Tag Team Festival. I will be there. Jörn Simmons will face Vincent Heisenberg in a street fight on the 1st of October during the World Tag Team Festival. I will bloody love this match. These are 2 big, dangerous monsters, and it's going to be super interesting. Tell us about the familiar faces that I will see at WXW Wildcard Edition during the Tag Team Festival.
Familiar faces on the 3rd of October will include Man Like DeReese, LJ Cleary, and Kev Lloyd. Plus, a chance to see the big bad kaiju O'Shea Edwards, the former Ring of Honor star Cheeseburger, the former Ring of Honor star Ellie Isom, Bulgarian star Maverick, and American Deathmatch star Akira, amongst others.
Yeah, really looking forward to this. The wildcard edition of WXW We Love Wrestling. They literally just bring in people that they don't use.
No.
And
Great idea.
they just give them a run out. So just completely random, different names. Really looking forward to seeing the UK contingent out there, of course. Although Kev Lloyd has wrestled there before. I'll definitely have to bring my I've got my Big Bad Kaiju sweatshirt, so I'll definitely have to wear that on the day. Body Slam Wrestling, this is in Denmark. Francesco Akira won the 2022 Scandi Invitational, defeating Endokara in the semi-finals and Xander in the finals. I really want to see that Endokara versus Francesco Akira. As I say, I saw the first match they had. Bloody amazing. Really was. Alice Inc. also captured the women's championship, defeating Emerson Jane, UK star. Now I'm going to tell you about how Emerson Jane won the championship. But first, I'm going to go to the show, Body Slam Pro Wrestling, if it'll load. You think you can dance? I'm not going to go through the results because I urge people to go out and watch these. They're available on IWTV, Independent Wrestling Television, as well as being available on the WXW Now service. Starting off, there was a women's title tournament match, Emerson Jane versus Iva Koloski. Really good match. Definitely the best Iva Koloski match I've seen. She's a Bulgarian talent, very athletic. But Emerson Jane really brought the best out of Iva in that match, and so it's well worth watching. Eli Castle versus Gabriel Faust. What I'll say about this, Eli Castle is kind of like Danny Black. Gabriel Faust has got a really interesting character, a very unique wrestling style. There was a couple of bits that didn't quite pull off exactly as they wanted to, but overall this was a fantastic match. Carlos Zamora, Pete Phoenix, Sobi Zayn versus Emeritus. Good match. Easy Lovers versus Dan Evans, Hyundai Thomas, and Robert Starr. Didn't quite get into this match, I must admit. There was another then title tournament match that featured Regina Rosendahl, Elise Inc., and Aisha Raymond, the big UK Amazon. This was won by Alice Inc. Good match, triple threat. You also had Michael Finn and Tank versus Randers Pagne, which is Xander and Adonis, think like Sunshine Machine, but Danish. Michael Finn is a fantastic talent. I think, honestly, all of these guys, there's so much potential in there. They just need to work with some higher level opponents more regularly. And that will help bring the best out of some of these guys. But guys like Eli Castle, Carlos Zamora, Michael Finn, Emeritus, these are all guys I could see having, strong if they get out there a bit more. Then it was, because it was a double show, the following show was called Only in Absaloni. Only the Absaloni, because it took place in Absaloni, Denmark. This was the all-women show, as I say. Heidi Katrina versus Calypso in the first match. Really good. Calypso, great talent, I think, French talent. And she put in a great showing against the big Amazon of Heidi Katrina. Aisha Raymond and Regina Rosendahl took on Lexi Lux and Elena Morgenstein. Elena Morgenstein is the first female Danish wrestler to be competing on Body Slam. She's been coming up. Lexi Lux, I think, from Finland. Same with Regina Rosendahl, and Aisha Raymond, of course, British. Good match. Street fight, a Valkyrie street fight. Six versus Miss Mina, because they both think they are Valkyries. Hard hitting, good match. These are the two matches I really want to talk about, though. Gaia Glass versus Maria De La Rosa. Maria De La Rosa from Spain, Gaia Glass from Israel. I was absolutely fantastically stunned by how good this match was, honestly. Maria, especially in particular Maria De La Rosa, who was fantastic. You see them both getting a little tired towards the end, but really solid, great match. And I put it out there on Twitter. If you're looking for something new, interesting, and different, you know, what you don't normally watch, Gaia Glass versus Maria De La Rose will definitely be a match that'll fix that itch for you. Right. There was the women's title tournament final, which was Alledged Inc. versus Emerson Jane. Brilliant. This was on level of matches you would see, in my opinion, with some of the matches you would see in Stardom. This was better than a lot of matches I've seen in the UK. Emerson Inc. and Alledged Inc. Emerson Jane and Alledged Inc. Phenomenal. Just great. And it was an awesome all-women's show, packed crowd, and just an all-around great show. The English commentary for both shows is done by Ollie Spring and TJ Lee, who do a great job explaining the characters and performers. Anyway, Passion Pro, more names have been added to the upcoming Passion Cup 2022. Who are they?
Robert Dreisker, Connor Mills, Peter Tihani, Ricky Sky, Ivor Kolovsky, Zafar Amin, Sabo Tamas, Carlos Roma, and Icarus. We also know that the Passion Cup will consist of 4 qualifier matches, followed by a fatal 4-way final. Passion Pro 5 is now available to watch for free with English commentary by Dave Bradshaw on YouTube. Go out of your way to watch it, because Passion Pro are putting out some absolutely brilliant wrestling, and Dave Bradshaw is always great on commentary.
I did watch it. Opening match was fantastic. Robbie Dreisker. There was a lot of injuries before this, so they had to fix the card a little bit. But Robbie Dreisker versus a guy called Darius, excellent opening match. Maverick versus Tamas Sabo had a beach street fight. It was very interesting and entertaining, to say the least. But excellent. But mainly Peter Tahani versus Charlie Sterling main event. Absolutely fantastic. These guys were amazing. They really put on a great show. Passion Pro, the whole show. I'm going to give the Passion Pro show 3.5 sugars. I'm going to give only the Absoloni 3.5 sugars. And I'm going to give Body Slam, So You Think You Can Dent, 3 sugars.
RCW Spain have announced the return of the Women's World Cup, set to feature performers from Germany, Italy, Japan, Portugal, England, Scotland, America, and Spain. This will be on the 22nd of October in Barcelona.
Yeah, if you want to go have yourself a nice little weekend away, watch some wrestling. What? I don't think there's many better places than Barcelona.
Never been.
APC Catch in France. And Mel will be returning to action in France with APC Catch's Homecoming 2. That is on the 9th of October. Irish superstar LJ Cleary will also be in action along with APC Catch regulars Ricky Salem, Diego Montero, Ultima Sombre, and Egil Blanc.
Italian Wrestling Association, Amir Jordan is heading to Italy to be part of the IWA Roma Caput Mundi training camp. This is a training camp running on November the 18th and 19th, along with the former Ring of Honor star Cheeseburger, who will be doing the training camp. This is ahead of the TV tapings on the 20th of November.
Yeah, before that, it'll be the actual Tisca tryout, which is on the 11th of September for La Leca della Strada 5. Axel will also be competing for the IWA Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match against Karim Brigante and champion Flavio Augusto. British superstar Jordan Saeed will also be in action that show. And that just about wraps up everything we need to talk about. Just like to shout out Mr. Hustle Malone, who is going to be taking a break from wrestling for his mental health. I would just like to say thank you for entertaining us. Thank you for the great work you do for charity.
Thank you, Hustle Malone. Lucky enough to see you a number of times because you used to do a lot of wrestling down where I am. Really enjoyed your work at Wet Cake Pro in your match with CJ Carter. One of my favourite matches of the year so far.
It doesn't look like Sacrifice Pro will be continued to run though, so that's great to see, because I know he's partly behind that one, and of course they do amazing work for charity. So again, thank you, Falso Malone, for all the work that you actually do for charity in the wrestling scene, and hopefully we'll see you back in the ring at some point, but only if you want to, of course. Right. Just remember, folks, don't feed the trolls.